TCU, Georgia, in Los Angeles, facing off for the national championship. Definitely a tough task for TCU, but they are not. They're not down and out. In fact, they have a lot of the characteristics to go in and beat Georgia, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. How they can beat Georgia. Before I go any farther, I am Brian Knight. I am not Bobby Durkins. At least not right here. If you're new here, thanks for joining. The channel's been doing very well. Just started the channel a few months ago. Thank God it's the weekend. And yeah, I've had a lot of subscribers. A lot of people reach out to me, and I do appreciate it. If you're new here and you have not subscribed yet, just hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it's free. So even if you're lazy, you just have to hit a button. So you do that, and even if you're a cheapskate, you just hit a button, and there we go. And pass along to anyone that, heck, they could even hate me. I really don't care. So I did a video before this, and I talked about why Georgia will win the national championship. And if you haven't watched that video, whether you're a fan of either team or not, go check it out, because it has a lot of variables in it that actually has to deal with what's going on with our football team, especially, Clemson fans, and really explains how coaching, scheming, player development, and so on is the main reasons that a coach is hired, and Georgia definitely has that. Kirby Smart in the post game said we played like trash. Supposedly locked the media out, went off on his players. I'll guarantee you he went off on his coaches. And it has been nothing but scheme, and have great practice sessions. But let's talk about TCU. TCU, we all know the story. First year, Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes has been around for a while. I mean, he coached at UC Berkeley. I don't even know why UC Berkeley even has a football team, considering UC Berkeley is nothing more than a hot spot for activists. They're absolutely have no there's no free thinking there. There's no nothing except for just hating modern society. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And he went there and he coached. He left. I can't remember all his stops. I know he was at SMU before this, and then he comes here and he coaches. He comes to TCU. TCU had a coach who had success, Gary Patterson. A lot of people like Gary Patterson. I liked Gary Patterson, and I really don't know what all went on there, but it is easy to assume that Gary became complacent. Hey, I've won here. I've brought you success. I've done very well here. You should be thankful for what I've done. You guys are spoiled. I've brought you success. And then TCU's football team started going downhill, and it slowly started creeping down until finally no more Gary Patterson. They hire Sonny Dykes, and in his first season, he does something that really nobody has done. And I mean, it was one thing to be a 6-6 football team, a 5-7 football team, and then come in and do this, which that would still be incredible. But to be 2-10 the year before, and then now you're in the big game, national championship. Teams who had out-recruited you, who has had better seasons than you, who has even won national championships in the past 5 to 7 years. They couldn't make it, but you did. So how can this team that is a favorite, in fact, I am pulling for TCU in this game. Georgia fans knows that I am not pulling for them. Georgia fans knows that when I made that video just a second ago and posted it about Georgia, I had a little vomit in the back of my throat. I didn't want to talk about it. For those of you who are watching this video and you don't know, Georgia and Clemson, Athens, Georgia, where the University of Georgia is located, and Clemson is about, an hour and a half from each other? We're very close to each other. Two of the most significant football programs in current college football, which I love my Tigers, but we're on the decline. I hate to say that, but we are. We're very, very close to each other. So I hate that Georgia is doing well. But I focus on trying to tell the truth as best I possibly can on here. I am biased. I pull for these guys, but I still tell the truth even about them. Georgia's really good. But TCU can do this. They can do this. How can they do it? Well, let's start with Sonny Dykes. For a guy like him to come in to the Big 12, first of all, the Big 12 is not that good. Down in Austin, Texas, they're spending more money than you and I can imagine to have a subpar football team. Steve Sarkisian's losing his mind on somebody in the tunnel. He's having a mental breakdown. I don't know what happened there. They're buying players left and right with NIL money. That's exactly what it is. All while the poor players are probably still poor. That whole lie never panned out, never helped out any of the poor players whose families is still at home, suffering and so on. But they're running back, now former running back, because he's going to go play in the NFL, and good for him. He was driving, I believe, a Lamborghini. So, great. Sonny Dykes goes into this league, and he wins. He wins. Right off the bat, he replaced Max Duggan with Chandler Morris. My memory serves me correct. Son of former Clemson OC. Golly, I just lost it. Guys, I need to go to bed or something. Chad Morris. But folks, I'm going to tell you this. Thanks, Parker. But I'm going to tell you this. And Angie, if you didn't watch my video just a second ago about your Georgia Bulldogs, you need to go back and watch it. I did a good job there. As I reluctantly hated every second of talking about your football team, I broke them down very well. And I believe they are definitely the favorite to win this game. But this video is about TCU and how they can beat Georgia. And it starts with the head man. Sonny Dykes did something that I believe every coach, whether they're in college football, heck, not even coaches, I'm talking about anybody who is a decision maker, should do, no matter if it hurts their pride. There was a game earlier this year, cannot remember it, but I remember his response. Someone asked him should he have ran the football when they turned the ball over on downs. What did Sonny Dykes do? Did Sonny Dykes say? Did he give the old coach adage where it was like, well, you know what? We have no regrets. We did what we felt was right, and we'd call that play again. How dumb and stupid is that? How stubborn and arrogant could anybody do? No, Sonny Dykes did not do that. Sonny Dykes stepped back and he said, you know what? The media asked him, said, should you ran the ball on that instead of doing what you did? And he goes, you know what? That was a bad decision. Yeah, we probably should have. What? A coach admitting that he made the wrong decision and that he would adjust? Oh, call the news outlets. The sky is falling. Someone admitted they were wrong, and that it is hard to correct something when you are not willing to admit that you're wrong. And Sonny Dykes did it. You say, well, so what does that mean with this Georgia game? It means he's willing to make the proper changes and adjustments to his game plan before and during the game to put his players at the best spot to beat Georgia. Now, if you're playing Clemson, that's a different story. Clemson's going to make excuses of why whatever happened, and they're going to tell their fans that they're a bunch of rednecks and they need to go away, or else their coaching staff might go coach somewhere else. Which, newsflash, if you go coach somewhere else, guess what their fans are going to want you to do? Win. Especially if it's Alabama. You think Clemson fans are bad? You go down to Alabama and tell them, hey, we did good this year, had 10 wins. They'll burn your house down. Tuscaloosa don't play. Sonny Dykes is the key, is the first key to this game. That he is trusting his team. Now, personally, I don't like the 3-4. In fact, I think the Achilles heel against Georgia will be the 3-4 defense. If their defensive coordinator wants to prove me wrong, be my guest. I'm pulling for TCU in this game. Do you hear me, TCU fans? I know some TCU fan, every fan base has one, who they have selective hearing. They have selective hearing. They did not hear what I said up to this point. They didn't hear that I said that I'm pulling for TCU. They didn't hear that I complimented Sonny Dykes, and I didn't hear that I said, hopefully, I know your 3-4 defense will prove me wrong. You're just going to hear what you want to hear and come on and try to correct me. Let me tell you this, 3-4 defense against a run strong team like Georgia doesn't fare well. Well, Michigan, you're not playing Michigan. Michigan is a good football team. They're better than what they were last year somehow, and after they lost players left and right. Good job, Jim Harbaugh. You're worth the $75 million they're paying, or whatever it is they're paying you. But TCU won. But Georgia's a different animal, pun intended. This is a different dog, pun intended. Okay, I'll try to stop now. The point here, I'm not a fan of your 3-4, but Sonny Dykes, maybe he has something up his sleeve while he's talking to his coaches that can make an adjustment to make it difficult for Georgia to run the football, therefore forcing them into having to throw the football, which the 3-3-5 really works against. So Sonny Dykes is the first key. Whoever is making the decision, whoever is overseeing the game plan, whoever is overseeing player development, whoever is making those decisions, and they're willing to admit that they were wrong and that they're going to reevaluate the way that they do things, folks, listen to me, that's a big deal because most coaches now, they don't do that. We're seeing that in orange and white in Clemson, South Carolina right now. We get the proverbial, hey, we have some things we need to work on, but everything's all right. It's not all right in Clemson, South Carolina. But in Georgia and in TCU right now, it's fantastic. My next key, you guessed it, Max Duggan. Max Duggan, in a time where players are opting out left and right, don't blame them. It's a business decision. I know some of you don't like that. And you're going to work your $40,000, $50,000, maybe $60,000, $70,000 a year job. And these guys are opting out for millions. I'm sorry. I understand it. What happens if they blow their knee out in that unimportant game? Well, they could blow their knee out in any game. Yeah, but that unimportant game, they're calling it. They're calling it. They blow their knee out, and then they have to go work a regular job, or maybe they get on a coaching staff. Are you going to subsidize the millions that they lost? No, you're not, because you don't even make that much. You can't even count that high. So chill. Max Duggan goes out in a time where players are quitting on their football teams or being selfish, or some of them just looking out for their best interests, which I can't blame them for that. And then some players who are just hitting the transfer portal just because whatever reason, some of them good reason, most of them probably bad, that Max Duggan is going out there and playing his tail off. If you are not a fan of Max Duggan after watching him play the conference championship, you don't appreciate good, hard-fought, focused, relentless football. Max Duggan is the flipping man. That leadership is the difference of walking out onto a field, playing a defense like Georgia, and going, yeah, they're tough. I'm not laying down and dying. Having to face a guy like that is very, very difficult. And then you have a player like that walking to a sideline to a coach like Sonny Dykes who's willing to adjust, make the adjustments, listen to his quarterback instead of going, "This is the plan. We're going to run the plan, and if we lose with the plan, at least we followed the plan." Nope. The plan is supposed to support the goal, and the goal is supposed to win football games, and in this case, win the national championship. When your goal becomes your plan and it's not winning, you've got it backwards and you don't know what you're doing. And that, my friends, is the reason that TCU is in this ball game and these boys, who has better recruits than them, is not. Max Duggan will go out there and he will play his butt off. And barring injury, I believe he will be one of the only reasons that if TCU wins this game, and they can win this ball game. Georgia, don't go ahead and start moving over certain trophies to make room for this one just yet. You're going to have to play the game. I believe you're very much the favorite. I believe you'll win the ball game. When you're going up against competitors, especially like Max Duggan, you have to focus more. You have to stay in the game. Mentally, emotionally, physically, strategically, you have to stay in the game 100%, or else a guy like him will beat you. And that's my third reason, or my second reason why they have a chance to win, how they can beat Georgia. My last reason why they can beat Georgia. And Parker, you were talking about their really dangerous wide receiver. I believe his name is Quentin Johnson. Guy's ridiculous. Big guy, go up, catch a ball. I mean, he's something. He is dangerous. They have other players on the team. What Hodges Tomlinson? Is he playing this game or is he injured? I can't remember. If he's not, I mean, the guy's what, Jim Thorpe Award winner. They have some. Listen to me. If you're a Georgia fan, you're sitting here going, "Yeah, we got TC." Have you watched their players? They're talented. And Georgia, I will tell you this before you get too doggone cocky. Remember, I even thought that you were going to curb stomp Ohio State. They did not. You did not beat them the other night. They beat themselves. They're missing more players than you would have to take off your shoes to have enough fingers and toes to count how many players Ohio State was missing the other night. And once again, I do not like Ohio State whatsoever. By the end of the game, the only regular star they pretty much had on the field, on the offensive side of the ball, was C.J. Stroud. So before you get cocky and everything, you got to play the game. I once again believe you're the favorite. Did you hear that? Don't go stupid on me and start hearing things I didn't say. But I am saying Georgia has to respect, and this is the third reason, the absolute will of the underdog. TCU has the will to win. Between the scheme and the mindset of I'm going to put you in the best possible place I can, coming from Sonny Dykes, and then having a leader like Max Duggan, who not only talks a big game and gets his team fired up, he goes out there and puts his body on the line. Takes over a game. That cultivates, plants the seed, and grows into the will to beat you. They were 2-10 last year, folks. You realize that? 2-10. I don't care even if you're in a bad conference. 2-10. Good grief. My point in all of this, the will, the excitement, the drive, put together with a good game plan, can spell an upset for the Georgia Bulldogs. It can have the TCU Horned Frogs hoisting the trophy at the very end of the game. That gives them the chance how they can beat Georgia. And folks, that's very important because it's not all emotionally based. We have the scheme, we have the willingness to adjust. We have the leader who's actually going to go out there and do it on the field. Make the proper changes. And then that creates the mindset and the willingness to go out there and execute. Folks, that's powerful. Period. I still think Georgia's going to win this ball game. I hope TCU proves me wrong. I'll be pulling for TCU. I think Kirby Smart will be holding up another national championship. And if it's what if his team is going to continue doing what he's been doing, and if some of his coaches leaves and he rehires excellent coaches, he will probably be holding another national championship very, very soon. As long as he does not live in a world where he begins to take up for his past successes because his present team's practices doesn't reflect what he used to do, he'll be fine. And he'll continue to win national championships. But Sonny Dykes and the boys, they have other plans. They have other plans, and we'll see if those plans come to pass. Well, listen, I'm going to close down this video. Thank you so much for joining me on Not Bobby Durkins, because I'm Brian Knight. I'm not Bobby Durkins. At least not here. Again, subscribe, do your thing, pass along to other people, and I appreciate you checking this out. You take care. Hey, even in Tiger Town when it's a bad day, it's still good to be a Tiger. Take care of yourself. See you on the next show.